What's up, you beauties? Welcome to High and Wide Hockey, your go-to spot for all things NHL trades and rumors, from breaking news to in-depth trade analysis. We've got you covered. Before we get going, make sure to help us on our quest to 1,000 subscribers by subscribing below. And make sure to smash the like button. Now, let's talk some hockey. Today we're talking about the New York Islanders and their plans with Noah Dobson and what the New Jersey Devils could have in store for the upcoming trade deadline heading into the Four Nations face-offs. And who better to talk Isles and Devils than Jim Biringer of RG Media? Jim, my friend, let's get straight to it. The Devils are in the midst of a playoff hunt in the top three of the Metro. What could they be thinking of doing heading into the trade deadline? There's been talk out there that they need maybe some more sandpaper added to the lineup. Do you foresee them making any significant moves heading into the break?
Hey, James, first of all, thanks for having me back to the program here. Always a pleasure to be on here talking Devils, Islanders, all hockey. So New Jersey heading into the trade deadline. We're at the Four Nations face-off. They get their win on Montreal Saturday. Funny, 10 straight win now in Montreal for the Devils, double digits. Sometimes they just have a good run against certain teams. I think the same thing goes for Pittsburgh when they play them too. But as far as, sandpaper depth, look, I said this back in July. I wrote about it, tweeted about it. They still need a top six goal scorer. Their inconsistency in the top six, getting goals. Yeah, you see nights where they score 4 or 5, but then there's other nights 1, 0, 2. They need help there. The name I've heard a lot of, and we'll see if this happens because Vancouver's in the hunt. But Brock Boeser seems to be a guy that is generating a lot of interest from the New Jersey side of things. He's a goal scorer that they need. They haven't been able to replace Tyler Toffoli. They were in on Jonathan Marchessault still, but again, general manager and president Tom Fitzgerald didn't want to go beyond a certain point with older players, and I get that because of the salary cap implication. If a guy retires, gets hurt, you don't want to mess up your salaries. But now the cap's going up, so does that really play a factor into things now? Everybody knows what the numbers are going to be. I know Toffoli wanted some trade protection. He wanted some stability. But the Devils need that. They also need center help, and you can clearly see it, and they've needed it since the beginning of the season. You have Nico Hischier. You have Jack Hughes, and Nico Hischier should be back in the lineup after the Four Nations face-off. But after that, down the middle, Curtis Lazar can play the middle. Dawson Mercer can play the middle, but he's playing the wing. Eric Holla. You got Stefan Noesen who can do both. Paul Cotton. They don't really have a lot down the middle, and they need help down the middle. Could they go after a Yanni Gourde type, who I wrote about earlier in the year? Could be a potential fit for them. Ryan O'Reilly, but that package out of Nashville is going to be high. Could be, they're not going to want just prospects and futures for a guy like Ryan O'Reilly. Even though he has a no-trade clause, they're treating him like a guy that has a full no-move, full no-trade, even though he doesn't have it. That's going to be a high package, like similar to what UC Saros was last year. But the Devils definitely need goal scoring. They definitely need help down the middle. I wouldn't be shocked if they had depth on defense too, because the top six that they've been rolling out since the beginning of the year is getting taxed, and you can see it now. Injuries to Jonas Siegenthaler. I wouldn't be surprised if they add like a seventh defenseman, guy who can play in the NHL but has can be a healthy scratch. So the guys down, so you can move a guy like Simone Nemec back to the AHL so he can play where he is right now because of the Four Nations break.
Wow, so there's a lot of sort of big names in there. You mentioned Brock Boeser, and that would be interesting to add another scoring player to this already somewhat potent lineup. You mentioned guys like Hughes and Hischier's out of the lineup currently, but that would be a massive addition. And then you mentioned guys like Gourde and Ryan O'Reilly, who, while skilled, could maybe add some of that missing grit and sandpaper to the New Jersey Devils roster.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I know a lot of people were hoping, and I kind of put the kibosh on this one, even though they didn't want to believe it, but it's okay. JT Miller, I'm like, okay, so if JT Miller came to the New Jersey Devils, where's he playing? Is he playing on the wing? He wants to be a center. He's most effective at a center, and you're going to pay, $8 million for a third-line center. Are you going to move Jack Hughes to the wing? You really want him to be a wing, so that really wasn't going to be a guy that you were going to bring in. An interesting name, really, that I think would be fascinating, and maybe for the right price they could do it because they've done trades in the past. The Devils and the Montreal Canadiens, Jake Evans, that could be a guy that could fit right in. He's a good penalty killer, good center, face-off guy, having a good season. Again, I know partner of mine, I saw you had him on a show too. Marco D'Amico, he had a great article out about what the Canadians are going to do. He's generating a lot of interest, and if they don't sign him, I could see the Devils taking a run at him.
I think that would be a great target for the Devils. Jake Evans, who's having a pretty, really good season for the Montreal Canadiens. He could fit exactly what the Devils need there down the middle. So great stuff, Jim. Let's kind of switch gears and move on to maybe the biggest piece of our episode here. So you recently put an article out in regards to Noah Dobson and that situation up in the Isle. What's going on there with Noah Dobson and the Islanders?
Yeah, so right now he's out of the lineup, and he's been out of the lineup for a little bit, dealing with an injury. But depending on who you talk to, and I have a lot of sources around the league, he's available and for the right price because the Islanders need scoring, and they've needed scoring for a little while here. I mean, everybody who's watched the Islanders have always said every offseason they need a goal scorer, they need a goal scorer, they need more offense. Anthony Duclair was really the only option out there for this team. But Noah Dobson is available. And again, he's a restricted free agent. He's going to demand some money. He's making $4 million right now. He's coming off that bridge deal. Will general manager Lou Lamoriello want him, pay him market value? Or what we see as market value, what the NHL sees as market value? Because he has a different opinion on what market value is, right? And I see it going back to his days in New Jersey. You want X, he'll give you Y. If you still want X, he'll say, see you later. And he's restricted, right? And he's under team control, but we know what the market is right now. We saw what Brock Boeser signed for in Minnesota, $8 million over 8-year extension. Is that something the Islanders really want to do with, Noah Dobson? Is that a guy that they really want to do that with? I mean, look, he is available. If you give him that $8 million, it's smart because he's a foundational piece. But if you can get a goal scorer for him, I'm not saying it's going to be Elias Pettersson, but, a guy like that ilk, is that something you do pull the trigger on? I mean, it's going to be a high piece, but Lou Lamoriello, you know what he's like when it comes to negotiations. Is he a guy that they value as $8 million, or does he see himself like that? Because if he does, that's where it's going to happen. I'm not going to say it's going to happen at the trade deadline, but come the offseason, when it's time to start negotiating that deal, maybe he moves around the draft after that because he is valuable to a team that needs a top 4 defenseman. And I'm saying, you look Vancouver, you look out west, guys like that. Hey, you even look north. Is that somebody that they can use that and get some scoring in there? Again, it comes down to what Lou values the player at and what the player values himself at. And that's where the sticking point is going to be in that negotiation.
Wow, that's great info, and this is kind of surprising. It's actually shocking that a player like Noah Dobson could be available. I mean, he was just about a point per game player last year as a defenseman, and was putting up like Makar-esque and Adam Fox-esque offensive numbers on the power play and even overall. So to hear that he could be available, it's got to be what you're saying. That maybe the money just is not going to work, or they're looking to get out in front of something and get a score. Like a player like this doesn't become available every day, right?
No, it doesn't. And I mean, look, everybody points to the Devon Toews situation when the Islanders had to trade him to Colorado. That was a cap situation. And I think if you look back on it, I think they would probably not want to make that trade, but they had to because of money, because they were in a flat cap. But now you look at it and you say, oh man, certain guys can get traded. Dobson can go. I mean, we've seen it around the league. We just saw Mikko Rantanen get traded from Colorado to Carolina for Marty Necas and Jack Drury. I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card, right? We all thought maybe a Rantanen was going to stay, sign that long-term extension. He gets moved. Now, there's a ton of possibilities. Nobody's untradeable, right? We've seen it in the past. And again, the Islanders, if you give up on a kid like that, you better be getting something in return that can make your team better. Lou Lamoriello does not believe in a rebuild. He does not like the word rebuild. Retool, I guess, is in his vocabulary. He wants to keep the team competitive. But if you move a guy like that out, you better remain competitive because that's a foundational piece on your defense. Yes, I know he's having a down year. Yes, he's injured. But if if you get the right price for it, they're going to listen and they might pull the trigger to do something like that. We've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I mean, what a a month it would be if we saw guys like Rantanen, Nietzsche, and Dobson and whomever else potentially moved. It would almost rival the NBA trade deadline with some of the moves that are happening in the NBA there. But it would be a shocker for sure, as I kind of figured that Dobson would be one of those guys that would be an Islander for a long, long time. Jim,
Yeah.
always a pleasure having you on the show. We need to get you back on more often, but you're the go-to source for all things Devils, Islanders. Even you cover the Rangers as well. So maybe one day we'll get you on to talk some Rangers. But where can everybody find your work? I know you're with the RG Media now. Where can they find you on social media as well?
Yeah, get me at Jim Biringer on X, Twitter, at RG Media as well. Still at Full Press doing work there as well. NHLRumors.com as well. Get me up on YouTube, Full Press Hockey there. Drop some videos during the where official NHL Rumors also on YouTube. Jersey Jim 33 Instagram, and just everywhere I am, I'm always somewhere, and I'm back on this show with you. So that's even better. It's always a fun time. Check it out. All the episodes that I do are up on iTunes, Spotify, where all you get your podcasts. And stay tuned for the latest articles because lots of big things are going to be coming.
Guys, if you're a hockey fan, and I know this is primarily a Flyers channel, but if you're Devils, Islanders, if you're a hockey fan in general, you need to be following Jim Biringer. You're not going to find a harder working man in hockey than this guy, bringing you all the latest updates and rumors and trades. So, Jim, once again, thank you for taking the time and hanging out on this Sunday afternoon. I'm sure we'll talk again soon. And who do you got in the Super Bowl tonight? I know we talked a little bit before the game, the show.
Yeah, you know what? I'm a big Saquon Barkley guy. I hope he gets it done. I don't want to see Chiefs three-peat.
Yeah.
As much as I'm not a big Eagles guy because I grew up a Giants fan, I want to see Saquon get it done. I hope he does. That'd be a nice ending to the season for him. But I appreciate the kind words, James. You as well, hardworking dude, guy. Follow this dude. Follow James on Instagram. Follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter. He's hardworking just like me. Another great guy in the business.
I appreciate the kind words, Jim. We'll catch up again soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, man.
You too, buddy. Have a good one.
All right. So what do you think, Devils fans, Islanders fans? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on all things NHL trades and rumors. Thanks again for watching. Remember to keep it high, keep it wide, and we'll see you next time on HW Hockey. Bye-bye.